Food industry experts compiled this list of foods they say we should never eat.
You're going to try it, but you don't like fish.
I'm like DC. I'm afraid of that whole thing.
You think you're making healthy choices, right? Then think again. Elon Musk just revealed 15 products that could change the way you see your pantry forever. Some items look fancy on the outside and misleading as a premium choice, but there's a shocking truth behind them. Take the coffee you drink every morning. Did you know some of the most luxurious blends start by passing through the digestive system of a civet cat? No, seriously. And that's just the start. From gross food to gadgets meant to break, these products will make you question everything you've bought. Let's get straight into it. 15. Coffee from civet poop. This is Kopi Luwak. The luxury coffee is made from beans that have passed through a civet's digestive system. But this expensive coffee, which can cost over $35 a cup, is hiding a dark secret. The idea is that civet cats eat coffee cherries, and their stomachs ferment the beans, supposedly giving it a smoother taste. But while wild civets eat a variety of foods, those used for commercial Kopi Luwak are often locked in tiny cages and force-fed coffee cherries to increase production. This cruel treatment causes severe stress and health problems for the animals, and it gets worse. Over 80% of Kopi Luwak sold is a fake, with regular coffee beans being passed off as the real deal. Even if the coffee is authentic, beans from caged civets are low quality compared to those from wild ones, who naturally pick the best cherries. So, before you spend a fortune on this luxury coffee, think about the suffering behind it and choose something ethically sourced instead. 14. The seafood industry. The seafood industry looks clean on the outside, but what happens behind the scenes is shocking. The journey from the ocean to your plate is full of problems, many of them bad for the environment and the animals. It starts with the catch. Small fishers may be careful, but big fishing boats are another story. These huge trawlers catch tons of fish and other marine life, including endangered species. This harms the ocean and messes up the balance of nature. And after the fish are caught, they're often shipped in dirty, crowded conditions. Fish are thrown onto truck floors, packed tightly together, and sometimes sit in pools of filthy water. It's not just gross, it's dangerous. This whole process makes you wonder what you're really eating. The harm to the environment and the animals is too big to ignore. If you want to eat seafood without guilt, choose sustainable and ethically sourced options. Or, as Elon says, maybe it's time to stop eating fish at all. 13. Margarine. Margarine is often advertised as a healthier choice than butter, but after learning how it's made, you might think twice before using it. It starts with oils like soybean, sunflower, or palm oil. These oils are heated and treated with chemicals to make them solid, which creates harmful trans fats. These fats raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and increase the risk of heart disease. And to make margarine look and taste better, manufacturers use chemicals like hexane to extract oils, then bleach and deodorize them to remove bad smells and colors. They also add artificial colors and chemicals to give it a smooth texture and bright yellow color, nothing like the simple, natural butter. The oils in margarine often come from genetically modified crops treated with glyphosate, a chemical linked to health problems. Plus, margarine is high in omega-6 fats, which can cause inflammation and lead to diseases like heart problems and diabetes. On top of that, preservatives like BHT are added to make it last longer on the shelf, and studies suggest BHT could be harmful or even cancer-causing. All of this just to make a spread that doesn't even taste as good as butter. Is it really worth it? 12. Burgers. If you love burgers, it's time to think twice about what's really in that patty. It may seem like the perfect comfort food, but there's a lot you don't know, especially about fast food burgers. First off, the calories. One fast food burger can pack over 1,000 calories, almost half of your daily limit. Add fries and a soda, and you've already eaten more than your body can handle. Plus, these burgers are loaded with cholesterol and sodium. both of which can seriously damage your heart. Too much cholesterol can lead to heart attacks and strokes, and too much salt puts pressure on your blood vessels. And that burger patty doesn't even come from just one cow. It's likely made from meat from many cows, sometimes from different countries. This increases the chance of harmful bacteria, like E. coli or H. pylori, getting into the meat. Beef recalls due to E. coli happen all the time. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about pink slime. It's an ammonia-treated filler added to meat to make it stretch further. 11. Fake vanilla flavor. Most vanilla-flavored products don't use real vanilla. They use some pretty shocking stuff. One of the strangest ingredients is castoreum, which comes from beavers' anal glands. Beavers use this to mark their territory, and it has a vanilla-like smell. It's not used much anymore because it's expensive, but just knowing this might make you think twice. Most of the time, vanilla flavor is made from a chemical called vanillin, which comes from wood pulp or clove oil. It's not as gross as castoreum, but it's still far from real vanilla. This is part of a bigger trend where cheap, fake ingredients replace natural ones. Gisante tomato ketchup. We all love adding ketchup to our food, whether it's fries, burgers, or even Maggi noodles. It's sweet and tangy, and it tastes great on almost everything. But it's not as simple as it seems. Most store-bought ketchup is full of sugar, preservatives, high-fructose corn syrup, and a lot of salt. Even just a few spoonfuls can lead to weight gain because of all the sugar, and over time, it can cause obesity. The high-fructose corn syrup in ketchup is linked to heart disease and other health issues. The acids in ketchup, like citrus and malic acid, can also cause problems for your stomach. If you have acid reflux or heartburn, ketchup can make it worse. 9. Red food dye. Some of the red food and drinks you love might be colored with crushed bugs. The red dye, called carmine or cochineal extract, comes from tiny insects found mainly in places like Peru. To make the dye, the bugs are dried, crushed, and processed. It takes about 70,000 bugs to make just 1 pound of this bright red color. This dye has been used for hundreds of years. The Aztecs used it for red fabrics, and now it's used in foods, makeup, and even medicines. You can find it in things like yogurt, candy, lipsticks, and coatings. For most people, the dye is safe, but if you're allergic or follow a vegan, vegetarian, or kosher diet, you might want to stay away from it. And if you're grossed out by the idea of eating bugs, it gets worse. Synthetic red dyes, like Red 40, are made from coal or oil and have been linked to health problems like hyperactivity and even cancer. 8. Canned mushrooms. You might not know this, but canned mushrooms can legally contain maggots and mites. It sounds like something from a horror movie, but it's true. The FDA says it's too expensive to remove all the tiny bugs that can get into food, so some are allowed to stay. In a 600-gram can, there can be up to 20 maggots, and 5 of them can be bigger than 2 millimeters. And up to 75 tiny mites per 100 grams of mushrooms are also allowed. Yes, little spider-like bugs could be in your next meal. And these bugs are usually safe to eat in small amounts. But they could carry diseases if they've been near rotting food. The FDA says it's not a big risk, but the idea of eating maggot-filled mushrooms is pretty unpleasant. 7. Bread. You might be surprised to learn that some store-bought bread contains human hair. Some brands add a chemical called L-cysteine to make the bread softer and easier to make. L-cysteine can come from different sources, but the cheapest one is human hair, often collected from barbershops in places like China. This hair is cleaned and processed, then added to the dough. So when you eat some bread, you might be eating hair too, and it's considered safe to eat in small amounts. But if the idea of hair in your food grosses you out, you can avoid it. Just choose bread from local bakeries that use natural ingredients, or, even better, try baking your own bread at home. 6. Shrimp farming. While farm-raised shrimp may seem like a solution to overfishing, there are serious environmental and ethical issues. Most shrimp we eat are farmed in places like Southeast Asia and Central America. To create space for shrimp ponds, mangrove forests are being destroyed. These forests are crucial for storing carbon and providing homes for many species. When they're cut down, massive amounts of CO2 are released into the air. Shrimp farms also pollute the water with waste, chemicals, and hormones, hurting the environment and marine life nearby. Even worse, some shrimp farms have been linked to human trafficking and forced labor, making the problem even bigger. Wild-caught shrimp have their own issues. Trawling, the method used to catch them, destroys the ocean floor and kills other sea creatures that aren't the target. This is known as bycatch. 5. Gummy candy. Gummies are made from gelatin, sugar, and artificial ingredients. When you eat them, they don't break down easily. It's like if you left a gummy in water overnight, it swells up and becomes a jelly. That's what happens in your stomach. This can cause bloating, discomfort, and sometimes constipation. Now, the sugar. Gummies are packed with sugar that gives you a quick energy boost, but leaves you feeling tired later. If you eat too many sugary snacks like these, it can lead to weight gain and even increase your risk of getting diabetes. 4. Hot dogs. Hot dogs are made through a process called meat emulsion, where beef, pork, or poultry is ground down with fats, spices, and curing agents to form a mushy batter. And any cheap hot dogs include parts of the animal you definitely don't want to think about, like fat, skin, gristle, and even organs. The meat is stripped from bones in a mechanical process, and during that, it picks up blood vessels, connective tissues, and other waste. Then, preservatives like sodium nitrates and artificial flavors are added to keep the hot dog fresh and bright-colored. On top of that, hot dogs are loaded with high amounts of sodium and saturated fat, which can lead to heart problems, high blood pressure, and even obesity. As if that wasn't enough, a study found that 2% of hot dogs contain human DNA. While this doesn't mean human flesh is in there, it raises serious questions about hygiene in the production process. And some vegetarian hot dogs tested even showed traces of human DNA. 3. Chewing gum. One ingredient in gum comes from sheep's skin. It's called lanolin, a waxy substance found on sheep. It's usually used in skincare products to keep your skin soft, but it can also be in your gum to make it chewy. Not exactly what you'd expect in a minty gum, right? Gum today is very different from the first versions made from tree sap. Now, gum base is made mostly from synthetic materials, like polyisobutylene, a rubbery stuff used in tire tubes, and polyvinyl acetate, a resin used in plastics. These ingredients make gum soft and stretchy when you chew it. 2. Energy drinks. Energy drinks might seem harmless, but their ingredients are not always great for you. One common ingredient is taurine. Taurine is found in foods like meat and fish, and it helps your body make energy and balance fluids. The taurine in energy drinks is usually made in a lab or comes from animals, which isn't usually a problem, but it's just one part of the story. What's more worrying is what else is in these drinks. Many energy drinks have lots of caffeine and sugar, or worse, artificial sweeteners and chemicals. These drinks give you a burst of energy, but they can also cause dehydration, make you feel shaky, and mess with your sleep if you drink too much. If you drink too many over time, all that sugar can lead to weight gain, blood sugar problems, and even bad teeth. Too much caffeine can make your heart beat too fast and raise your blood pressure. 1. Fish sticks. Most fish sticks are made from farm-raised fish, but in fish farms, the fish are fed things like soy, corn, and sometimes even antibiotics to keep them healthy in crowded and dirty conditions. This means the fish don't get the heart-healthy omega-3s you might expect. Plus, many brands don't even tell you where the fish comes from, so you don't really know what you're eating. Now, Let's talk about frying. Fish sticks are usually fried, and that adds unhealthy fats like trans fats and saturated fats. These fats can hurt your heart and raise your risk of stroke or obesity. A serving of fish sticks can have 9 grams of fat, including 2 grams of saturated fat. So, have you ever thought about what's really in the food you eat every day? Share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more.